Hello guys, in this video we are going to discuss about scanning. Scanning is also one of the important steps in ethical hacking. And our today's agenda is firstly we will discuss about introduction of scanning and then ping and ping sweeps and then port scanning using nmap tool. If you don't know, nmap is a famous tool for port scanning and device scanning. And then we are going to see the host discovery options etc. And then the final summary. Firstly, to scan a device, we need to follow some steps. The first step is to gather information like IP address, username of the user, etc. And then step 2 begins by breaking the scanning process into three distinct phases. The first step comes with determining if a system is alive or not. It means a system is up or not. And then the port scanning the system. If you don't know what is the port, port in network is a software-defined number associated to a network protocol that receives, transmits communication for a specific service. It is nothing but a specific service is running on a particular number. That particular number is called as a port. And then the step 3 comes with the scanning the system for vulnerabilities. Vulnerabilities is nothing but the loopholes of the system. If you don't know, these are the some of the common port numbers running on a particular service. For example, port number 20 for the service FTP data transfer and 21 FTP control, 22 SSH, then 80 HTTP, etc. And then we have now ping and ping sweep. A ping is a special type of network packet called an ICMP packet. ICMP means the Internet Control Management Protocol. It sends the ICMP packet. Pings works by sending specific types of network traffic called ICMP echo request packets to a specific interface on a computer or network device. For example, in the picture we can see we, we performed ping on google.com. Here we can see the output bytes 32 in the line indicate the size of the packet being sent and the time 21 millisecond is telling you how long the entire round trip took for packets to travel from the target, and then the target TTL equals to 59 is time to leave. That's it. And here down you can see the packet sent equals to 4, received equals to 4, and the loss is 0%. And we're going to discuss what is nmap. Nmap, shortly known as Network Mapper, is a free and open source tool used for vulnerability checking, port scanning, and of course, network mapping. GenMap is the GUI version of Nmap. You can download and GenMap also in your Windows, Linux, etc. It's nothing but a graphical interface of Nmap. And the main features of Nmap is we can do host discovery, port scanning, service and version detection, OS detection, etc. Firstly, we are going to discuss about host discovery. To detect live host, nmap sends several packets to the target missions. If it gets replaced, then the target or host is marked as live. This is known as ping sweep operation. Means we continuously send the packets to the target mission. If we get any reply, then we consider it as a live system. We have various host scan techniques supported by nmap. The ICMP sweep, broadcast ICMP, non-echo ICMP, TCP sweep, UDP sweep. Firstly, we are going to see the ICMP sweep. We send an ICMP echo request packet to the receiver. And if an ICMP echo reply is received, then we consider the target is up. We use PE option in nmap to do this. Here you can see that scanner sends the ICMP echo request to the target, and then if ICMP echo reply is received, then the system is alive. And if we did not get any reply, then the target is down or filtered. The second one is host discovery using broadcast ICMP. It is same as ICMP sweep. Here we send the ICMP echo request to the whole network at broadcast address. If all the hosts in the network will simultaneously send back the ICMP echo reply packet, then it is alive. Here you can see the scanner sends the ICMP echo request, and then all the all the systems in the network will simultaneously send back the ICMP echo reply. And then host discovery using non-echo ICMP. Instead of ICMP echo request, the scanner sends out the other types of ICMP messages. The target will respond to such messages instead of a general ICMP echo request. In the first approach, we send ICMP type 13 message, which we use PP option. We discuss this. We discuss about these options in lab. The scanner queries current time to the target, and then in approach 2, we send ICMP type 17 messages to the target. The scanner queries subnet mask to the target. Here we use PM option. Here are some examples of nmap commands. And firstly, if we're going to discuss about three-way handshake. When two missions on any given network want to communicate using TCP, they do so by completing the three-way handshake. TCP means transmission control protocol. It is connection oriented protocol. We will discuss about TCP and UDP in further of this video. Uh, when two missions on any given network want to communicate using TCP, they do so by completing the three-way handshake. This process is very similar to the phone conversation. This process is very similar to a phone conversation. When you want to talk someone on phone, you pick up the phone and dial the number. The receiver picks up the ringing phone not knowing who the caller is and says hello. The original caller then introduces himself. Hi, I'm John. And in response to this, the original receiver will often acknowledge caller by saying, "Oh, hi John." At this point, both people have enough information for the conversation to continue as normal. Computer works much the same way. When two computers want to talk, they go through the similar process. The first computer connects to the second computer by sending a SYN packet to a specified port number. If the second computer is listening, it will respond with a SYN or acknowledgement packet. When the first computer receives the SYN acknowledgement packet, it replies with an acknowledgement packet. At this point, two machines can communicate normally. The first computer sends the SYN packet to the victim, and then the receiver sends back SYN or acknowledgement packet, and finally the sender sends acknowledgement packet to the receiver. Using nmap to perform a TCP connect scan. This scan is often considered the most basic and stable of all the port scans because nmap 50, the basics of hacking and penetration testing, attempt to complete the three-way handshake on each port specified in the nmap command. Here TCP uses three-way handshake to complete the process. To run a TCP connect scan, we use this command nmap -st-p here and then pn and the target IP address. Let's understand this command. Here, st tells nmap to run a TCP connect scan. Specifically to break this switch down even further, S is used to tell nmap what kind of scan we want to run. The T in the ST is used to run type of TCP connect scan. Here P represent port and then PN we use the PN switch to skip the host discovery phase and scan all the addresses as if the system were arrived and responding to the ping request. And the final one is the target IP using nmap to perform a SYN scan. SYN scan is faster than TCP connect scan with little chance of dosing or crashing the target system. SYN scans are faster because rather than completing the entire three-way handshake, it only completes the first two steps. That is, first the sender sends the SYN packet to the receiver and then receiver sends the SYN or acknowledgement packet just like it did when we ran a TCP connect scan. However, at this point, rather than sending traditional acknowledgement packet to the receiver, the scanner sends an RST reset packet to the target. The reset packet tells the target mission to disregard any previous packets and close the connection between the two machines. To run a SYN scan, we use the following command nmap -ss-p-pn and then IP address. Using nmap to perform UDP scan. UDP is a user datagram protocol. UDP is a connectionless protocol, but TCP is a connection oriented protocol. Here UDP sends simply the UDP packets to the receiver continuously. To run the UDP scan, we use the option called SU, the nmap tool, and then the target, and then we specify the target address. To practice this nmap, we need a Linux mission and a victim mission, which is metasploitable in our case. I have already made a video on how to install metasploitable in Windows. Now, to install nmap, open your Linux machine. Now, open your terminal. And update. The update has been finished. Now, type sudo apt upgrade. The upgrade has been finished. Now, to install nmap, type sudo apt install nmap. the nmap has been installed. After installing nmap, open your terminal and just type nmap. You'll get all the options. Let's go through these options first. Here you can see the host discovery options like SL is used to list scan. Simply list all the targets to scan and then ping scan. The option SN is used. It will disable the port scan and PN treat all hosts as online. We'll discuss all these three and then we have some of the scan techniques like TCP scan, UDP scan and TCP null fin and Xmas scans and we have many more options. To practice this nmap, let's start our victim mission with metasploitable tool. Type I of config to know the IP address of the metasploitable tool. Here you can see the IP address as 192.168.56.105. Now go back to the Ubuntu and if you want to run a ping scan is one of the most basic functions of nmap which is used to identify the active hosts in your network. For example, we type nmap, let me zoom in, nmap, the option hyphen sp and the target IP range and we can specify the IP ranges 168.56.105. So we'll specify from 102 to 107 and if we press enter. Firstly, here we are going to perform ping sweep scan, which is the host discovery scan, which is used to find number of hosts are alive in a particular network. Let me just type nmap -sn and the IP address of my router, which is 192.168.56.1. Here you can see the host seems down and then we have one IP address in our network range and now if we type nmap-sm and thus specify the IP range like okay, here we need to use this option -pn. Now we'll specify the IP address of the victim, which is 192.168.56.105 and it will find whether the victim system is up or down. Here you can see the host is up and one IP address is scanned. For OS detection, we use capital O. And then if you want to get output of the scan, we use -o. And then for aggressive scan, we use capital A. This is an example. We can scan this website scanme.nmap.org, which is vulnerable. Let's try to do it. Here we perform aggressive scan by using -a, and here -b represent verbose, which is used to show the process in the terminal step by step. Here you can see the scanning has been started, and here we already got three open ports, which is of TCP 80 and 22 and 9929 and so on. As it is an aggressive scan, it takes some time. Here you can see some of the scan techniques like TCP SYN, connect scan, etc. And then UDP scan and TCP null fin and Xmas scan. To perform TCP scan, we remove this option A and put -st on the target IP address, which is 192.168.56.105. Here the TCP scan has been started. Okay, the TCP scan has been completed. These are all the open ports. Here you can see the 21, 22, and etc. And the services running are FTP, SSH, Telnet, and so on. And sometimes the TCP scan may be blocked by the firewall. If we do the same TCP scan on Windows machine, the firewall may be block this TCP scan. Then we use the SYN scan, which is also known as half TCP scan, which is used to complete half three-way handshake, which sends SYN packet to the receiver, and the receiver sends SYN acknowledge packet, and then finally the sender sends the reset packet. For that we need to specify the option -ss and press enter. Here we need to give root privileges to this. For that type sudo. For SYN scan we need to give the root privileges. Okay. It has been completed very quickly. These are all the open ports which are already shown in the TCP scan. You can see the services running on it, FTP, SSH, Telnet, and so on. And then we can use UDP scan also. We can use -su for UDP scan. Here you can see all the ports which are using UDP are found. Here you can see the services domain, RPC, bind, etc. And then if you want to know the OS of the system, we just type nmap -capital O and the victim IP address, which is 192.168.56.105. 168.56.105. Okay, we need to use sudo privileges to these commands. Here you can see this, the information we got, the device type bridge, and then it is running on Oracle VirtualBox, and then here we can see the time taken to complete this scan, and here you can specify the port numbers which we need to scan. For example, in SimScan we need to scan the ports from 1 to 1000. We can specify -p and from 1 to 1000 port. Click enter. Here you can see all the ports discovered are from 1 to 1000. Also we can, most of the times we specify all the port numbers which are 65535, because the users may run the services on any other ports also. So we cannot miss any port to scan. If we type enter, you will get the timing and how much percentage it is done, etc. information. Now, if you need to know the versions, if you need to know the version of the services, we need to specify -s capital V and then press enter. If we don't specify any port number, it will automatically scan the top 1000 ports, which is, you can see, scanning 1000 services on the IP address. It's taking longer time, so we'll perform TCP scan. Here you can see the TCP scan result with version. Here you can see the service FTP is running on the version VSF TPD 2.3.4. Here you can see all the versions of the services running which are open. A hacker will definitely do this version scanning, because if any service is running on a previous version or which is a backward version, then that version will definitely have some bugs or vulnerability which we can get into it. And then if you want to output this scan result to a txt file, we can do it by giving an option called -o capital N and then the file name scan1.txt and click enter. If you type ls, here you can see the scan1.txt. Let me open it. Here you can see all the results, the port scanning, state, service version, etc. in a txt file. If you want more GUI version of this, we can convert this file into an XML file. For that, we need to give the extension as XML. Okay, if you type ls, here you can see the scan1.xml. Now we need to convert this to HTML file. For that, type sudo htxslt proc scan1.xml -o scan1.html. Here we need to install the xslt proc, which is used to convert the XML file to HTML. Apart from the TCP, SYN, and UDP scans, we have some more scanning types which are null, fin, and Xmas scans. In null scan, the packet does not set any bits, like TCP flag header is set to 0, and then in fin scan we just set the TCP fin bit, and in Xmas we set all the fin, push, and urge flags because this is the reason why it got an it got named as Xmas scan because it will be lighted up like a Christmas tree with all the packets with all the flags like fin, push, and urge. Currently, many firewalls and ins- currently many firewalls and intrusion detection systems can detect Xmas packets, and it is not the best technique to carry out a stealth scan. Yet it is extremely useful to understand how it works. Normally, stateless firewalls block SYN bits or headers from TCP packets when sent without acknowledgement bits, which is a SYN scan. The XMOS scan consists of clearing the SYN header from the TCP packet and replacing it with FIN, push, and urge packets or bits bypassing the firewall. In other words, TCP headers matching firewall rules are replaced with headers not matching rules. When we refer to the XMOS scan, there are only three possible states, which is open or filtered. nmap cannot detect if the port is open or filtered. Even if the port is open, the XMOS scan will report it as open or filtered. It happens when no response is received from the receiver and we get output as closed when nmap detects the port is closed. When it happens when the response is a TCP reset packet and we get an output as filtered when nmap detects a firewall filtering the scanned ports. It happens when the response is ICMP unreachable error based on the RFC standards nmap or the Xmas scan is capable of interrupting the port state. If the target does not expressly refuse the connection and just drops the packet without a rejection reply, the Xmas scan cannot be sure if the port is open or filtered. We can perform Xmas scan by using the command nmap sx-p for the port numbers and -pn to avoid the host discovery and the victim IP address. Let's get into the Linux mission and perform this null, null scan and fin scan and xmas scans. First we type nmap -sn and then p and the target IP address. Sorry, we need to give root privileges. Here you can see we got the output for null scan, which is detected as host is up. All the ports are scanned, which is all ports are closed. Now to perform the fin scan, we replace N with F. Here you can get the same output as the above. All the scan ports are closed. And then if we need to perform the Xmas scan, we replace F with X. And if we specify -T, it represents the timestamp level, which varies from 0 to 5. We specify 4 most of the times, which is reliable. Here you can see all the scan ports are closed. Maybe the firewall is detecting all these scans. Here the firewall is detecting the scans. Here we can use option -pn to bypass the firewall. Since we are getting all the ports are closed. Now that's it for today's video. In the next video we'll see the scripting using nmap and the packet size modification to bypass the firewall, etc.